Hello friends of the channel, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Rob. This is BigRobsVan. Don't let the overcast weather fool you. It's about 85 degrees, it's hot, it's muggy, it's been raining. On days like that, there's nothing that I'd rather have than a frozen fudgesicle. What makes that possible? This brand new dual compartment freezer slash refrigerator from SetPower. This is the new PT45 from SetPower. This is one of their multiple refrigerators that they sell. They are 12 volt or 120, so you can plug them in your workshop or your garage, or you can plug them in your car. SetPower sent me this refrigerator to take a look at. This is part of their budget line of refrigerators, so we'll talk in just a second about what the difference is between this and some of the more expensive refrigerators that you may see on the market. But let's talk about this one first. So this is the SetPower 45. It's the PT45, and the 45 means 45 liters. So this thing holds a lot of stuff. It is a dual compartment, and either compartment can be configured to its own temperature. It can go, I think, all the way down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can have one side to be a freezer, one side to be a refrigerator, both as a refrigerator, however you want to set this up. The top part is plastic. This part is aluminum. This part is plastic. So multiple materials here. That's a big deal to some people, not to me. If we look around the sides here, on the side we have these plastic handles. Again, that seems to be a sticking point to some people, not to me, and we'll talk about why. And then on the side we have a power port, which is where you're going to plug in. So I've got mine running off of 12 volts, but you could also, they sent both the 12 volt adapter and, like I said, a 120, so you can plug it into a wall for power as well. On the front here, what you can see is the control panel. I'm going to tell you, I mentioned this in another review the other day, but I like simplified control panels. I don't want to have to feel like I need a college degree to use my stuff. This control panel is very simple to use. As you can see at the top, you can set the temperature for the left side, the temperature for the right side. This is your voltage protection setting, and this is whether you want it in high mode or eco mode. I believe the difference is in high mode, it will go up to 65 watts, and in eco mode, it keeps a level at like 35 watts. So if you're trying to sip on battery and it's not as important to freeze things or get things cold super fast, you can switch this over to eco mode. Now, I want to show you inside this. And by the way, the first thing I want to point out, it is a dual zone. So like I said, there are two separate compartments. So they are physically separated here in the middle, and it has two different lids. I love that because my other refrigerator, the one I've been using for the past couple of years, is a dual zone fridge, but has one big lid. So when you open it up, it lets all the cold air out of the freezer side. It's not a great design, so I really like this. As you can see, these open up individually. There is a LED light on each side that turns on. That's really nice when you're camping at night. Now, as you look down into the compartments, you will see the one on the right is really deep. It goes from the top all the way down to the bottom, and the one on the left is more shallow. It only goes down to about right here because the compressor sits underneath here. So personally, when I was setting this up, I set this side up as a freezer, this side up as a refrigerator, because for a freezer, I'm having to keep a much smaller area cool or frozen. And this side I'm just keeping, relatively cool. The other thing I want to point out is that the insulation on this is over 2 inches thick. So I don't have a cooler that has walls that are 2 inches thick. And my other fridge, definitely the walls are not 2 inches thick. So this has some heavy insulation on here. So once this thing cools down, it doesn't take long. Once it cools down, it will stay cold. You'll hear the compressor turn off. If you hear it at all, this is the quietest fridge I've ever tried or had in a vehicle. I can barely hear it, but I also like that these lids, whenever you shut them, you can see that they automatically latch. My other fridge doesn't do that as well. So I really like the outside design of this. Now, it probably looks big in this space, and that's because I have it turned sideways so you can see it, but I turn it sideways and push it right up against the passenger van, and I have plenty of room to get in and out and plenty of room to access it. Rounding numbers, it's about 20 inches tall about 24 inches wide and about 16 inches deep. I will mention that SetPower has 3 different models. Actually, I think they have 4 now, but the PT series, there's a 35, this is the 45, and then there's a 55. The footprint of all of those models is exactly the same. So they're all 24 inches wide, 16 inches deep. The only difference is the height. So you're not putting something bigger in your van that you can't get through from the front seats. That's important to me, or something that where you wouldn't be able to get in through this way. So the footprint again is always the same. It's just the 55 is a little taller and the PT35 is a little bit shorter. Let's take a look inside the fridge and take a look at some of the options. I've turned the refrigerator just a little bit so you can see the AC connection over here on the side, and you can also see these vents. Now, one thing that I saw people talk about online is that on some more expensive refrigerators, the vents are kind of angled down, which would help repel water if you're gonna have this outside. I'm never gonna have this outside. I'm gonna have it right here in my van. So that's not really a deal breaker to me. Let's take a look a little bit more at this control panel. Now, again, I mentioned, I think, all the features. Here is where you set the temperature. Again, the left side, the right side, you can hold down these buttons and it'll skip 2 degrees at a time. So if you want to go quickly and change the temperature, you can do that. This voltage regulator. So what this does, this is voltage protection. So if you have this plugged in to the battery of your van or your vehicle, it will monitor the voltage that's coming down. So there's a high, there's a medium, and there's a low. I think the high will only trigger whenever the car is running. It's looking for a battery voltage that's high enough like that your alternator would put out. So with the car started, the refrigerator would be on. When you turn your car off and that voltage drops down, this turns off. Now you could set that to medium or you could set it to low. So if you turn it down, it will stay, this fridge will keep running even when the car is turned off. Now I will tell you one little catch is that when I first hooked this up, I hooked this up to my All Powers battery, and on both sides I got an E1 error. So immediately I went and looked that up and it said you don't have enough voltage, and it was set to the high voltage. So I moved this down to the low, plugged it into the All Powers, and it has worked fine ever since. So the All Powers, obviously the 12 volt connection is putting out a little over 12 volts, but not high enough to trigger the high. So if you plug this in, you get the E1 error. That's probably what's happening. Just change the voltage down to low. Again, there's the high and the economy mode. I already talked about that. Now, taking a look inside here, you can see this side again is so deep. How deep? I mean, if you look in here, not only do I have some drinks, some water bottles and things, I literally have this giant water bottle in here, and this thing is cold, man. So it will store, I could probably, with all the stuff that's in here, I could put at least another 12 pack of cans. I don't know how many cans you could really put in here, probably 30, 40, maybe 50 cans if you use both sides. I mean, this would hold a lot of stuff. This side is really deep. So again, the way that I would set it up is I would put my food on this side, anything that I need to keep cool. Sometimes that's medicine for people, whatever. And then this refrigerator or the freezer side, again, I'm calling it the freezer side because that's the way I have it configured, but you can configure it either way. But since this side is a little bit smaller, it's just less work to keep the temperature on this. My hands are a little wet and it almost froze to the side of this. This thing is so freezing cold. And so as you can see, the cold air coming out of it, this side is super cold. I got another popsicle in here and I have a water bottle that actually, yeah, that's frozen. So again, you got these cool lights that I talked about. Man, this is really cool. So let's talk about the differences between this and the more expensive refrigerators. There are a few different things that this doesn't have that if you were to go online and buy like a Bouge RV, or a Dometic, maybe an Ice Cool, those things have some different features that this doesn't have. So again, we talked about those vents. That's not a deal breaker to me. Some of the more expensive refrigerators have wheels for if you're wheeling it around. This thing weighs just over 40 pounds. I think it's 42 pounds empty. I had no problems picking it up, lifting it, putting it in the van. So, it's just not that heavy. And again, I'm not going to be carrying it like around for miles. I just put it in the van one time. I'll just be turning it back here and that's where it's going to live. Some of the more expensive refrigerators have metal or aluminum handles. This has plastic handles. If you're using the handles to carry this around, that will never be a problem. That's not a problem. Now, what some people say in some of the other reviews I saw is that if you're using this like in the back of a Jeep and you're going off-roading and you're putting tie-down straps through the handles, they say that might not hold up. Maybe that's true. If that's your intention with this refrigerator, I can't really help you with that. If I were gonna do that, I'd throw a strap over the whole thing and then it wouldn't be a problem. So yeah, that's, like I said, that's a complaint people have had, or a concern, I should say, about the plastic handles. But I think if you're using the handles to pick it up and carry it and just normal use for handles, I don't think you'll ever have a problem. Now, one thing that some of the more expensive refrigerators have are Bluetooth apps. This does not have a Bluetooth app. The other refrigerator that I've been using for a while does have a Bluetooth app. I'm an app guy, I'm a technology guy, I love all that stuff, and so I love having that Bluetooth app, but I don't know why, because it doesn't do anything. I mean, I go there and it says, your fridge is on, and here's the temperature, and you can adjust the temperature. Well, I could do all that with this right here. I guess this is what I would say. When's the last time you opened up your refrigerator at home and changed the temperature? I haven't done that in years. We've had a refrigerator for 6 or 7 years. I've never changed the temperature. We set it when we bought it. It's the same temperature. So I think when I would get, like, I would probably, if I was gonna use both of these, well, you could set this side to, 0 degrees, however cold you want your freezer to be. Set this side to 35, 40 degrees I think is about the cutoff where you can start getting salmonella and things like that. So a little bit below 40, so maybe 35. I would set those two temperatures and that's it. I would never touch these things again. I know that it's on. I open this, it's cold. There's frost coming out when I open this side. So yeah, I like the idea of an app, but in reality, I don't ever use the app. I open it up to look and see what the temperature is, and then I turn it off. Well, I could do that right there whenever I'm in the back of the van. So just not that big of a problem. So let's talk about a few of the things that I really, really like about this refrigerator. Number one, super simple to set up, super simple to use. To set it up, plug in power, and you're kind of done. If you're plugging it into your 12-volt adapter in your car, you may not even have to mess with the voltage thing. If you do, I mean, it's a press button right here, not a big deal. So yeah, I turned mine down to the low setting, but that's it. Plug power in, you're ready to go. Set your temperatures. It's really just like a set it and forget it kind of setup. So I really like that. When you set your temperatures for the very first time, it says in 15 minutes, it will have you at 70% of whatever that temperature is. In about 45 minutes, it will be at the final setting. So if you're using this for the first time, you plug this in, 45 minutes later, you're ready to go. That's super fast, I think. So now I did notice that when I plugged this in and I did not have it on the eco mode, it did hit about 65 watts on my all powers battery. And then when it got down to the temperature that I had set, it dropped that voltage and it has been bouncing between 30 and 35 watts. One of the great things about this refrigerator is the insulation in these things. So once this thing cools down, it's going to stay cold. I haven't tested this. My guess is you could unplug this and it would stay cold probably for a day or days. I mean, like I said, I've never owned an ice chest with this much insulation. So that is a great design that really makes it efficient. Now, another thing that people worry about when they're ordering what's labeled as a budget fridge is what happens if something breaks. Is this company going to be around? Are they going to honor the warranty? Is there a warranty? Well, let me tell you, number one, SetPower has been around for quite a while, so you don't have anything to worry about there. And they have a 3-year warranty on the compressor. Now, on my other refrigerator, which costs 2.5 times what this refrigerator cost, I got a 1-year warranty. So I haven't seen another refrigerator out there with a 3-year warranty. So they're really sure that this thing is going to last. And if, for some reason, whatever reason, you got something that got banged up in shipping or anything like that, you're not going to have a problem. By the way, let me tell you about shipping. This thing came set down in a large box, packed with styrofoam, straps around the box, plastic around that. So it took me about 5 minutes just to get this thing out of the box. It was packed so well. And of course, your warranty information, your setup guide, your instructions were all inside here, along with the 2 power cables. Now, when you order this, there's different options. So you need to pay attention and look at the different options, because some people have complained that they only got a 12-volt cable and not a 120 wall adapter. Well, that's one of the options. So you got to make sure whenever you're ordering, look at the top at those options. There's some other things that are also available. They have a mat that goes over the top of this that would help insulate it even more. I guess if there's a weak spot in the insulation, it would be the plastic lid, but I don't see a need. I mean, I didn't personally need that, but if you wanted to insulate it even more, you could order one of those. And they also have a slide-out drawer. So if you're mounting it inside a vehicle, back of a truck, something, and you want to pull it out and slide it out and use it that way, you can order that as well. For me, it's going right here. Now, this is the honest truth. My other refrigerator that I have, the list price of that refrigerator was $999, okay? This refrigerator sells between $300 and $400. The exact price varies, and I believe they are having some sales for starting on, I believe, July 8th, so double check. I know on Amazon, when I looked last week, they already had a $30 coupon, which put this about in the $350 range, right in there. But I think they're even going to have some other sales. So they're sending me some links. When I post this, I'll put the links down there. So there's probably going to be some pretty good deals. Check their site, check Amazon, find who's got the best deal. If you're looking for a refrigerator, I recommend this. And how much do I recommend this? This refrigerator retails for around $350. My other one retails for around $1,000. I'm keeping this one in the van. This is the one that's staying here. I am going on a 1,000-mile, actually round trip. It'll be 2,000-mile road trip leaving this weekend. This is the refrigerator that I will be taking on that trip. That's how much I like it. I love the idea that you have the refrigerator side that's smaller. You have the freezer side that's smaller, the refrigerator side that's bigger. Not having an app is not a deal breaker to me. Some of the other things that people have mentioned, the plastic handles, none of that really matters to me. What matters to me is that you have something that works, you have something that's quiet, you have something that's reliable, and you have something that doesn't use a lot of wattage from your battery. This meets all those checks for me, and so this is the one I'm going to be taking. If you watch future videos of BigRobsVan when I go on adventures or whatever, look for the SetPower logo, because you're going to see it in videos. This is going to be the fridge. Oh, one last thing. It passes one final test, is that I can sit on it. So a lot of times where my refrigerator's here and I need to access things in that side of the van, I sit on the edge of the fridge. This held up no problem. So if you are smaller than Big Rob and need a seat in your van as well, I don't know that that's listed as an official sale item, but SetPower will hold up. I love this thing. I recommend it. So check it out. If you are in the market for a refrigerator, again, check those links down there in the bottom, because they've got some deals coming up, and every deal that they put up for sale or whatever, I'll add down there in the description. So thanks for watching this. And you know what? In the tradition of van life, allow me to offer you your own fudgesicle. Here you go. Have a bite. Oh, you don't want it? All right, I'll have it. Very good. SetPower fridge. Check them out.